Have you ever heard a manager on the showroom floor say something to the effect of, "We just trained this last week. I mean, heck, you had the class on Monday. It's now Thursday. What the heck happened?" Somehow, what they learned on Monday has disappeared by Thursday and Friday. Yet you're looking at the same team of people. They have the same training. It's the same store. Nothing changed. But the behavior is not what you requested. It's completely different from Monday when the trainer came on in. It's not that the training was bad. It was probably really good. But something happened directly after that training that we need to talk about. So let's dive in. But let's be fair for a second. Industry training today is really good. OEM programs, they're stronger than they've ever been. Product knowledge is better than we've ever seen it before. And processes are becoming more and more defined just around customer experience. And people are learning, and that's great. But here's the problem, is that learning and doing are not the same thing. There's actually a huge gap in between, and that's where everything actually starts to break down. The problem isn't what we teach, it's what happens after we teach it. You see, training is there to introduce behaviors and concepts of new behaviors and things for you to build off of. But unless you're that type of individual that absorbs everything, it doesn't stick usually. Because real life doesn't look like the classroom. Actually, real life looks a lot more like this on a dealership lot. A customer rushes on in Saturday at 3 p.m. You're wanting to get the heck out of here by 5. Your manager's pulling you in 15 different directions. And this deal with this poor customer is about to get super weird. This is when we need that training to hold, or it's going to fall apart. So you're the general sales manager. It's Monday morning. You fire up with this awesome sales meeting that you cannot wait to go over. You did your research and you invested in this program. Everyone's sharp. They're asking the right questions. They're following the process that you just taught, and everything is going beautifully. And you're thinking to yourself, finally, I have found something, and this is going to fix it. We finally did it, everybody. We made the perfect showroom floor. Next thing you know, Thursday afternoon rolls around. What are you doing over there? Shortcuts? Oh, shortcuts are creeping in now. Okay, well, that step just got skipped. And old habits, they quietly walk back in, taking place of all those things that you just tried to change. Thing is, nothing changed. Nothing changed at all. And because what you just did is you did training, and that was very noble of you. But that behavior, it just faded. This is what I call the consistency gap. It's the difference between what your team knows and what your team actually does when it matters. And here's the really uncomfortable part for a lot of people out there. Most dealerships don't have a training problem. You don't at all. You have a reinforcement problem. You invest in the training, but it's not being utilized to its fullest extent, or it's not being impressed upon over and over again. You see, the customers walking through your front door, they didn't experience the training that you invested thousands of dollars in, but they are experiencing behavior. And on Monday, they got great stuff, but after that, the behavior is going to change depending upon a lot of factors. Who your staff talks to when they come in the door, what day they come on in, how busy the store is, and how grumpy the sales consultant is, or the service writer, or anybody else. You see, your experience has just gone from being this beautiful vision that you had in your head to this terribly inconsistent, unpredictable item that, quite honestly, when you report to the owner at the end of the month how many cars you sold, you're throwing it at the dartboard for the next month when you say, this is what I believe that we're going to have. But let's separate this into two separate things, because we all know that if a customer comes in and our consultants are a little anxious about that customer, and the customer's anxiety is also already up, and that training has faded, that awesome meet and greet has fallen off, that needs assessment is starting to get a little bit rusty, all of a sudden our anxieties as members of the dealership to that customer, their anxieties start to go up automatically. And we got to bring those anxieties down and bring happiness and motivations back. Because at the end, anxious customers, they don't buy easily. You got to fight. And in the end, they usually win by taking all the money out of the deal. So let's separate these two things. Training is a moment in time. It's when ideas are introduced. Reinforcement is a system. It is not something that is simply just thrown out there. It's something that needs to be committed to. Training says, here's what we do. Reinforcement, let's make sure that this actually happens. See, consistency doesn't come from hearing something once. It comes from seeing it. It comes from doing it. It comes from correcting it. And it comes from repeating it over and over and over again. If you were listening to the podcast last week, CJ and I were talking about how his sales just skyrocketed from normal sales around 10 to 15 a month all the way up to about 38. And one of the reasons that this was happening is they built a whole system over here at AutoKnerd called AutoDrive CX. This is not a thing that is meant to replace training. I've had a lot of talks with people about that, and this is very much one of those items that everybody screams that they need, but it needs to mainly hit them in the face for them to realize that this is it. This is what we've been asking for. So that's what I was saying. It's not meant to replace training, but it's to make sure that training actually shows up in real conversations. So the idea is introduced. Here comes repetitive habits. This is daily. It's behavior focused, and it's not dependent on managers having to chase anybody down or do anything additional, because let's be honest, as managers, we already have enough on our plate. And this isn't just a dealership problem. Actually, it's a personal one. If you're a sales consultant listening to this, you don't need to wait for your store to fix your customer experience. Customer experience is tied to so many things when it comes to your pocketbook, your customers giving you great surveys, your ability to close that deal down quickly. The best consultants don't just learn, they reinforce themselves. They pay attention and they map their own patterns. They close their own gaps when it comes to their talents, and they consistently try to improve. So here's the real question. Where is training actually slipping at your stores? It's probably not where you think it is. And it's always pretty interesting when I ask people, because when they say, where actually is it? They're almost always wrong. So we built a tool this week to help out with this. Now the tool is over at the link that is in the show notes. But here's the thing with the tool. The tool is in our brand new toolbox. Go on over, check out all the goodies. There's almost 50 tools loaded into that thing that cover sales and service and parts and basically every place in the dealership. But this particular tool, the consistency gap, is meant to identify where that leak actually is. Where that leak actually is, and show you where it's holding up your process and where it's quietly just deteriorating and falling apart. So here's the thing. It's quick. It's mobile friendly. It only takes you a couple minutes to get this thing done. And it looks at things like, are you actually using discovery? Are you setting expectations clearly? Does your process hold up under pressure? Are follow-ups really actually happening? And what you do to actually fix it. It's not quizzing you on what you know. It's going to help you figure out what to do to get back on track. Because most people don't have a behavior problem. They have a visibility problem. You see, training creates awareness, and that is a really good thing to have. Reinforcement, though, creates habits. If it's not repeated, it's not going to be retained. That's just the simple human logic here. And if it's not retained, then it's just not real. You spent Monday teaching, and by Thursday, bad habits crept back in. So if we want better results, don't just ask what your team has learned. Start asking what actually stuck. That's where the real work is going to be and where the real consistency comes from. So check out the link in the show notes. All the tools over there are free, and there are layers of awesomeness on top of them if you want to dive on in. But when it comes to those tools over there, play with them, check them out. They're meant to help you out with everything from your ability to close down deals to how to have the perfect walk around to talking to a customer basically off a ledge when you said, hey, your vehicle's going to have $5,000 in repairs. That is going to be a massive toolbox by the end of this year. Probably thousands and thousands of tools in there. And cool thing, again, I'm going to make them all free to you. So just click the link in the show notes. All you got to do is pop your email in there and boom, you have access to all of them. So aside from that, over here, a couple little updates on AutoKnerd. AutoDrive CX, obviously, as you heard me talk about, is off to the races. I've been working on this thing to help you make more money doing what you do. Started off as a dealership program, and then all of a sudden I'm like, why can't individual users use this thing? I mean, we got fitness apps we use all the time on our watches and cell phones. But why don't we take that same methodology and apply it to creating better customer experiences for, well, the customer? And in the end, we're gonna reap the benefits of providing a better customer experience. So go over there in the toolbox, check it out. It is pretty awesome. And once you meet Sprocket, he's a pretty interesting dude. And then when you add on the AutoDrive CX layer to it, holy smokes, everything gets hyper focused on who exactly you are. After 90 days, you're gonna see a completely different side of yourself because you'll know where you're lacking and where you need to really go ahead and push hard to improve, but you'll also see where your talents are. And where your talents are really does show you how you can flex yourself in those areas to become even better for the customer. And so I put a lot of time, a lot of effort into this. I hope you all enjoy it. Take a look at it down in the show notes, and I will see you next week. This is Andrew Sardone from AutoKnerd. Talk to you later.